best of intentions. We founded with the best of intentions and with the highest of hopes. Now, there is a saying about best of good intentions, but that's a bad way of thinking. Only not very intelligent people think in terms of such dichotomies. And that has been the problem. I very much look forward to a new phase in the leadership of HIU, which is committed more and more to analytic thinking. And so we have hopes for this place. We have hopes to contribute to knowledge and to serve truth. We seek to serve the truth, to serve justice, to serve peace. It is true, I'm honored to hold a chair named for Imam Ali, and I am a Shia Muslim. But this center is going to serve all Muslims, and in fact all humans, regardless of their religious background or any other kind of background. This is going to be a center for scholarship. Yes, there is a niche which has to do with Shia studies, but that does not mean that this is in any way a sectarian place. This is the commitment. Our commitment is to truth, justice, peace, and scholarship. Something kind of unexpected happened as I was driving here, and I promise I'll keep this short. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a publisher, and I was pitching a book idea with him about a book talking about documents or manuscripts. Couldn't be any more boring than that. Manuscripts. And then the publisher referred me to a book called Meeting with Remarkable Manuscripts. This is by a person named Christopher Dohamel, and this happens to be a very successful book, a best-selling book in England at least. And it talks about medieval copies of the gospel, medieval books on astronomy, on science, and then I sometimes read the book and I sometimes listen to the book. I have long drives. I drive from Stanford to Hartford, and that is an 80-mile drive. So for part of the way I listen to books. And coming here, I was listening to this book, and as it was talking about a particular manuscript in astronomy held at the Leiden Library, he quoted a passage by the French polymath Joseph Justus Scaliger, who lived from 1540 to 1609. And this is the time of the Reformation. So this was a Catholic who did not particularly take a shine to the Calvinists. But he liked libraries, at least some of them. So he said this, and as I was driving here, I heard this Latin phrase, and I pulled over it and wrote it down, and I said, I'm going to read it. I have to make a confession, I don't know Latin. I took classes, but I didn't make much progress. But the text is, Est hic magna commoditas bibliotheca ut studiosi possit studere. So this is a library, this is a grand library dedicated for the studious to come and study. That resonated with me, because that's exactly what we're doing here. And I heard this as I was driving here, and I hope with your help, this is going to contribute to the cause of learning. And at last, I've spoken for 6 minutes. I'll take a few more seconds to remind us all of a thinker whom I find to be a very profound thinker of the mid-20th century. He was killed by the Nazis in 1940. He was a Jewish thinker, and his name was Walter Benjamin. Walter Benjamin had a very interesting way of thinking about the truth, and historical truth. I'm trained as a historian. He says, I'm going to quote him, that's from 1892 to 1940, very short life, extremely prolific, extremely fruitful intellectually. To articulate the past historically does not mean to recognize it the way it really was, as Ranke used to say, Leopold von Ranke. It means to seize hold of the memory as it flashes up at a moment of danger. And I hope that in our lives, whether it's our professional lives as scholars or individual lives as human beings, that we stand as witnesses to truth. Witnesses to the truth. That is our responsibility to ourselves, to our conscience. And that for me is also a duty and a responsibility to the name of the Prophet of Islam and to the name of Ali, his cousin. Thank you very much.